To be called bourbon, you have to have certain characteristics. And I always tell people on our tours, like, write this stuff down. You will win bar bets this way. People will tell you you're wrong, but I'm telling you, these are the characteristics. Bourbon is a type of whiskey. Bourbon is a distinctly American product. So that's one thing, is bourbon has to be made in America. But any state in the union can make bourbon. So it does not have to come from Kentucky. It does not have to come from Bourbon County, Kentucky. It has to be made in America. It has to be 51% corn at least. Most bourbon grain bills are much more than that, but that's the requirement, at least 51% corn. It has to be aged in a new charred oak barrel. So you get one use out of that barrel, and it's charred on the inside, and it's made out of some kind of oak. It doesn't have to be American oak. Most of it is American oak. And there's some proof requirements. So no one really cares about the proof requirements except the people making it, so we can stay in compliance. But it has to come off the still at less than 160 proof. It has to be barreled at less than 125 proof. And it has to be bottled at greater than 80 proof. So if it fits all those requirements and it's made somewhere in America, you can call it bourbon. Then the sub-designations of that, if it has straight bourbon on it, that is bourbon that is aged for at least 2 years. To be called bourbon, there's no minimum age requirement. That's another big bar bet you will win. But to be called straight bourbon, it has to be aged for at least 2 years. Most of the bourbons you see on the market are straight bourbons that have been aged in these traditional big barrels, and you can't really age it much quicker than 2 years in a big barrel and have it taste good at all. But you'll see lots of small barrel bourbons that mature much more quickly than 2 years. Ours, for instance, average 9 to 10 months, and we can still legally call it bourbon.